champion, of course, against the Italian player. And look at that matchup. What a matchup. Fire versus water.
Oh, yes.
That is literally amazing. And of course, Matteo would have loved to win the dice roll in this matchup because, I mean, you know that Mermail is such a strong deck going first. You have so many tools to try to get rid of your opponent. And this is a great way to start things off with the Atlantean Dragon being able to search a card, a Sea Serpent, from the deck to the hand.
It's usually not the normal summon you want to see, but it can get you where you want to be, especially when you have to discard, of course, of Atlantean Dragoons for it, making sure that is going to resolve. And I mean, immediately seeing this matchup here, it clearly reminds me of that super insane match we had in the semi-finals of YCS Birmingham also earlier this year, where Dinkabui, just with like a couple of seconds left essentially before going to timeout, then managed to clinch it out in the end. Very sportsmanship behavior from his top 4 opponent there in that match, and in the end it was Fire King winning that tournament. And therefore now I think Mathieu and Dinkabui, they teamed up together for YC's lead and built that new version of Fire King, including those cool new Jurrac cards actually. And I mean, for the moment it only says Fire King on the overlay here for Mathieu. I wouldn't be surprised if we do also have the Jurrac cards in his deck again though.
Yeah, exactly that. The Jurracs have really kind of stepped up the strategy for the Fire Kings. They have just such great synergy. And what it does give, even though Mathieu did not win the dice roll, they have a lot more capabilities to interact with their opponent during their turn. So outside of the normal hand interactions that you'll usually get with Ash Blossom or maybe Drow and Lockbird, you also have that added benefit of being able to utilize a card like the Jurracs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the ability to disrupt your opponent and try to just get rid of all the bodies and on the field. And this is, of course, very, very strong during the opponent turn because you cannot always try to play around those ones. And the fact that you're able as well to play something like Dominus Impulse is, of course, very, very strong against the Mermail strategy, because the Mermail strategy revolves around the ability to just resolve your special summons. And if you cannot resolve those ones, I mean, you might be in a trouble, especially considering the fact that he started with not the best way to start things off. But for now, there is absolutely nothing that Matteo is playing, so Matteo is pretty fine trying to just get things on the field.
Oh, there is a Minstrel. So, we're discarding the Coelacanth, and Matteo, does he want to chain something? He has to chain Kirin, and Kirin will destroy Olcanix in the hand, so that is good to get things underway. And it's a full Fire King hand. This is not necessarily a good hand to start with, because you want to pair it up with other things, because if Matteo now finds access to cards like Moulin Glacier or something, he may just get all of those other cards out of the hand. On the other hand, though, we see Mathieu already immediately establishing field presence here. But there is Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, I believe, on the Ponix here,
Yeah, exactly that. Trying to stop getting any more advantage for the Fire Kings is going to be incredibly important. We've already seen the activation of the Minstrel, and Mathieu reacted very, very well here because he knew that he was going to get the full hand knowledge, and you want to make sure you're getting that Kirin out of your hand onto the field in order to prevent more of a presence here, which is exactly what we've seen with the Ponix and the original Garunix as well. So very, very well navigated here, and I think we're going to be seeing quite a lot of back and forth, which is what I really do like to be seeing within these duels.
Yeah, absolutely. But we talked about the fact that the Fire King strategy had a lot of hand interactions to be able to try to stop your opponent. But the problem is that here you don't have a lot. Yeah, of course you have some field presence, but you don't have anything to actually stop the opponent. And you would have loved to have something like, for example, Dominus Impulse, but also access to the Jurrac strategy or the Garunix, being able to try to disrupt the opponent, being able to try to remove a body on the field, because here Matteo is going to be able to have access to the extra deck strategies. And in the extra deck, you have a lot of things to try to get some monsters back from the graveyard. We have seen the Coelacanth in the graveyard, and of course you want to have it on the field. Usually it is not a very good sign to have it in the hand, but you always have some ways to put it on the field. For example, you have some link to strategies, but also some XYZ, or here the Anemone, which will be able to bring back a monster. Of course, not the Coelacanth, but there are some other monsters that you can bring back from the graveyard.
Yeah, Marincis. Orbital Marincis monster. Has been a while since I saw Marincis actually at a featured match table, but at least the Coral Anemone is still out there rocking it for the water deck, helping the other water strategy here, bringing back Ministrel, and Ministrel can now just send the top 3 cards of the deck to the graveyard. Could we just get a little lucky and maybe hit a Dragoon for that here?
I mean, he wants that, of course, because he wants to get access to the Synchro plays.
Ooh, heavy infantry could be interesting too, though.
I mean, yeah, you can still go into some Synchro 6, but you already have used the effect to just put all the monsters level 7, so I'm not sure it is exactly what you want, but still.
Okay, so we put the Dragoons back into the deck.
It's gonna be enough, though. Because you want to get access to these Synchro plays or the XYZ plays, and here you don't have access to those. The fact that you started with not the best starter, of course, not the best normal summon, probably the worst one, and on top of that you had the Coelacanth in hand, Matteo doesn't feel great at the moment, and it might be the escape for Mathieu, to be honest. Even if he only had Engine in the hand, it might be enough.
Yeah, exactly that. I think you've got to be very, very careful with what exactly Mathieu has on the field.
Actually,
we
just set a card. We set a card being totally uninterrupted, and Mathieu is going to be able to draw for turn with already 2 bodies on the field. He has the Kirin, he has the OD Garunix, he has the Ponix, and already 3 bodies. I think it is gonna be it, to be honest.
This is hilarious that he decided to destroy the Fire King high up to Garunix, because that is now going to also trigger the Ponix that we already knew about, and the Kirin also comes back, or brings back the Ulcanix. Okay, we have the infinite impermanence for the Ponix, but we know Matteo just literally has nothing else left. Trying to destroy the Imperm, but we may as well just use it there. And Mathieu, it looks like all of a sudden he is going first.
Yep.
That Mermail deck, Atlantean Mermail, has so many tools going first. Like, you can either go for the Barrier Statue because the water one is still available to the players. You can go for Mulan Glacier. You can go for so many different things, but none of those were available here for Matteo, apparently, and therefore now we see Mathieu on the play. Mathieu told me a funny story about his last couple of weeks, because he has been playing this deck non-stop essentially since YCS Lille, and he has been winning die rolls like crazy, and now on the first round of the YCS, he loses it, so he's like, oh no, the streak is over of me winning every single die roll in the world. Still, seemingly doesn't matter.
I mean, literally 19 die roll one in a row, which was absolutely amazing. He came to me and he looked so happy when he told me the story. But for now, as you just said, I mean, the Atlantean Mermail strategy is very good going first.
Look at that! Game waste. Take the next game that is ahead of you, and you never can get carried away by how long of a day this is going to be. And let's see whether Matteo has a way to play better this time.
I mean, yeah, it was very difficult during the last game. He didn't have the best of a hand because he just had to normal summon Shadow Squad. Is it going to be any better?
He doesn't seem happy.
Look at that. Yeah, he looks so unhappy. And what is he gonna play? I mean, he takes a lot of time trying to think how to play and trying to think carefully, but it doesn't seem to be a very good hand on his side.
We're setting a card and passing.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Once again, during the first round of this YCS Bologna, Matteo just setting a card, and Mathieu is going to be able to try to win it all during this game. He's normal summoning the Ulcanix, and this is, of course, a very, very good start.
That is the start you need, the start you want. Mathieu, okay. What are we trying to figure out now?
Yeah, so we are still in the same situation, unfortunately for Matteo, of course, because we still have a set cards. Players are just waiting to just get back in the game. And as we just mentioned, we are in a very difficult situation here for Matteo, because he is going to have to interact with the opponent and try to prevent Mathieu from having any advantage. And this is a real bad sign here, because I think that the Ulcanix will resolve, and when it starts resolving like that, it is not very good, because Mathieu is going to have access to the Ponix right there, being able to special summon it, probably.
Yeah, exactly that. I think we're...
Oh, he's going to be the Kirin.
Going for the Kirin, but once you're activating, once you're going through all of these types of interactions, you start to check off the interactions that your opponent may have, and I think that's really, really important, because then it starts to allow you to be a little bit more free with some of your follow-up combos as well.
Oh, is there something? It is Dominus Impulse.
Very good
Interesting
card.
to see that we decide to set that one, because in Mermail you don't really have any other effects that you want to use that are conflicting with the Dominance Impulse. So making yourself vulnerable to cards like Happy's Feather Duster or Lightning Storm there was definitely an interesting decision from Matteo's side there. But maybe he just has another one in hand and was like, okay, I can set one, still have another one in hand there. And there now is the Jurrac package. So we spoiled you with that. He already made top 64 at YCS with this version of the deck, and he's back with it using the on-field effect now here of Jurrac Magalo. And Jurrac Magalo is going to destroy another copy of it and the Ponyx from hand to draw into 2 fresh new cards.
And now you are in a very bad situation, of course, for Matteo. It's getting worse because Mathieu has access to the engine, and he is going to be able to enter battle phase. So you still will have another turn, and that is some good news for Matteo. But still, you weren't able to start during the last turn, so you are just hoping for a very good top deck right now.
Yeah, exactly that. I think what you need to always remember and keep in mind that even though your hand might not look so great once you've drawn it for turn, as long as you navigate correctly, something as simple as a Dominus Impulse may allow you to kind of slow the momentum that your opponent might have, trying to kind of either try and win the duel right there and then, but trying to either come back into it as well. And exactly like you said, Matteo now has another chance to kind of come back at Mathieu and try and push a little bit more onto his field. And we already saw it in his first hand. When you're not playing any cards during turn 1, you then need to kind of reconsider from Mathieu's position that hand might contain a lot of go second cards or more kind of field interrupters than hand interactions themselves.
And you know, the fact that Atlantean Mermail is such a good deck with a lot of engine, you know, and all of a sudden one card can just change everything. It can just change everything. We saw the Poseidra and we drew the Dragoon, so now we are able to have maybe one of the most important combos in the deck, being able to use the Poseidra. And you know, he was starting, so Poseidra wasn't that good, but now he's literally going second, so the Poseidra is being very, very good, being able to just send for cost and being able to try to remove the presence on the field, not destroying it as well, which is very important.
Into the hand. One thing we'll have to consider though, due to Mathieu having that turn, having access to the Jurrac cards, there is a Jurrac Astero waiting in the graveyard, ready to destroy all cards on the field. So Mathieu will have to find a way to play around that. But there also is another thing to hinder him here further, as Joel and Lockbird came down, and that against Mermail can be so painful.
Absolutely. I mean, the only way to play around is literally the Coelacanth to get it on the field, to special summon it, and then being able to bring all those fishes on the field. Will he be able to do so? Because Mathieu will, of course, not let that happen, and we know that he has access to the Jurrac strategy, and being able to just remove every single body on the field is a very strong interaction. So yeah, Matteo in a very difficult situation. Will he have what it takes to just win this game anyway?
Okay, that can help. Triple tactic talents. No monsters on the field, no way to draw cards, so surely we're looking into the hand here.
Is it that good, though?
I feel it depends on what Mathieu has in his hand. If you're seeing exactly this, so we can see that there's a Kira in there that is probably the most damaging. Fumalos could also be relatively damaging here as well.
I mean, there's Drone Lockbird, so Fumalos just doesn't do anything.
Correct.
So.
The Ash Blossom is very good against the Coelacanth effect, to be honest.
But I feel like if you're taking out the Kirin, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, I agree. I feel that you could probably play through the Ash Blossom here on this one.
Can you?
I feel you could. I feel that you still have...
hard.
So, but remember as well that if you take away the Kirin, Mathieu is just left with an Ash Blossom that he will probably end up using, Fumalos, which isn't going to do anything, and then a Grunix.
But, I mean, if we get to that point, if it goes back to Mathieu, there was a Ponyx destroyed in the standby phase. So Ponyx will be able to come back if Mathieu's turn is ever coming again. But more importantly now, Matteo sees there is no way to put any monsters onto the field. No defense from Matteo in this turn besides that one Ash Blossom and Jurrac Spring. So if we find a way to make 8,000 points of damage work here, through, of course, still the Jurrac Astero in the graveyard being able to summon our Jurrac Meteor, then this could be the possible way to win. But while I'm saying that, how would you ever do that, really? Because playing through Jurrac Meteor is tough. But then additionally to that, having the Jordan Lockbird applying as well, and the Ash Blossom, I think, even though that talent resolved here, we should see Mathieu feeling relatively safe.
I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for the Drone Logbird, I would have said that it was very, very possible, to be honest. But it's gonna be such a statement here if Matteo manages to win the entire game, it's going to be very hard, and we can see that he tries to find a solution, tries to keep the bodies on the field. Will he be able to do so? He will be able to perform a Link Summon. Will we see the Anemone once again? Probably.
He's beloved. Oh, no, he's considering whether he wants to maybe rather go for Abyssalacia, exactly.
And
but
it's going to be the Anemone.
It's just going to be the one that it was in game number 1 already. Corral Anemone able to bring back to the zone. It points to a water monster from the graveyard. Which is it going to be this time around?
I mean, you don't have much choices, so it's going to be the Shadow Squad, of course, which is going to be there. And now we are going to perform another Link Summon. We are going to go into probably the Neptavis, I guess.
It is. There's so many Poseidons at this, Mermails at this moment, and this Link Free is one that you don't actually see that often in Mermail, I would say. Usually the ways have been different, but sometimes it, of course, it gives you that safety net of being able to protect your cards from being targeted while it is pointing towards them. And right now, I think Matteo is just valuing the attack points. Okay,
Ooh, wow.
That is now 5 waters in the graveyard, and I'm not sure whether Matteo was actually realizing that, because that could be huge, just taking out the Ash Blossom from the hand.
Reading it again, of course. But yeah, Moving Glacier is going to be able to hit the field, and now we are going to get rid of 2 cards in Matthew's hand, and that could be huge, to be honest, because we could get rid of some cards that would allow him to just play again during the next turn. Of course, obviously, there is the Ponix, which is safe and which is in the graveyard.
But wait, the Kirin is still in hand.
What? Yeah, so we put back the Mulchumi Fulos, so now we get to utilize the Kirin, send in the Garunix, then we lose the Ash Blossom, so we still have field presence. And as you've already mentioned, we have the Jurrac Meteor and we have the Ponix coming back. So the Moving Glacier isn't as game-ending as we may feel, but there is still enough field presence here. So it's really going to come down to when does Metu want to kind of work its way into the Jurrac Meteor as well.
Attacks over the Kirin. Kirin can now activate its effect. I'm not sure whether Matteo was actually considering that, because we can now just destroy 1 card on the field and bring back one of our monsters from the graveyard as well. And I mean, I actually didn't even see that he put back the Mulchami Fulos, but Matteo must have been in his dreams still to make that decision, because under Droll and Awkward, how on earth would you put back that Mulchami Fulos there out of those 4 cards?
I mean, it is very early in the morning, so...
Yes.
I think exactly
I can confirm from my personal side, but that was
But remember that we are at a YCS first round playing against Mathieu, and
on featured match on stage.
Featured match, it is very, very hard,
100%.
and I cannot even imagine after this first game. Remember, he wasn't even able to play properly his game, and it must be very hard to try to focus. And it happens to forget those little details, and it is those details that make champions. To be honest,
I mean, I was already nervous enough playing against Dale yesterday just on the stage, so I can totally relate for sure here to Matteo. But now in the end phase, Matteo is going to use the effect of Jurrac Astero, and we see the alternative artwork of that so cool Jurrac Meteor, destroying not only the opponent's monster, but also our very own, bringing back the Megalo afterwards as well. And now we destroyed the Ponix, so Standby Flex Ponix will come back. So Matteo, I think, should have a pretty decent time here for this turn. Also Garunix coming back. This is looking great.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. So because the Fire Monster was destroyed, we're revealing the Ponix in the hand to get it onto the field without even using your normal summon. This just opens up so many more options for you, as I feel normal summoning is such an important mechanic, or just part of the game, that the more you can hold on to that, the more you can put more pressure onto Matthew. And it's really going to kind of be coming down for Matteo as well, exactly what he might have to interact with this field. Otherwise, I feel Matthew could push further forward with this one.
Fire King Sanctuary is going to bring us that beloved field spell that has already been so good back in the day, but it's still a centerpiece of the Fire King strategy. The Fire King Island is going to be used to destroy that Ponix here again, getting us another Fire King, which of course turns out to be the Garunix we haven't seen all match yet. We only saw the other Garunix, but this is the one actually that made the deck so strong and good now. And that's the battle phase.
That's going to be
sealing the deal. Mathieu Ricard is on the